Joining me in the studio is Bertrand Besancenot, a former French ambassador to Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Ambassador, thank you again for coming in.
Yeah.
This attack happening as the word was that the Israelis were about to sign off on a ceasefire agreement. We even had the Israeli foreign minister at a press conference in Budapest yesterday saying as such, which had been drafted with the help of the Trump administration to end the war in Gaza. I take it today's attack means that's probably not going to go ahead.
Well, I think so, because unfortunately, and speaking personally, I am really shocked to see what happened, because, of course, Qatar is a friendly country to France as well as to the US, and also because it is another violation of the international law. This is very clear. Now, we have to understand why this happens. The negotiations on the freeing of the hostages were not, we didn't have any clear message on that. People were trying to be optimistic, but it was difficult to know. Now, what is clear is that, of course, I don't see how you can go on this negotiation after what happened, because especially it was the team who was supposed to be negotiating with the Israelis on the freeing of the hostages. So it is a clear message that the Netanyahu government don't believe anymore in any possible negotiation, and it is pursuing this uncompromising policy in the region, which of course is worrying, because everybody was expecting at least to find some kind of understanding, but it is not at all what is happening. And of course, for the Qataris, it is a shock, because they are close allies to the US. This was said that they are having the Al Udeid bases on their soil. And they have played a very positive role in order to try to find a solution to the hostage crisis, which was a very difficult exercise. So now everybody is wondering what would happen afterward. And apparently we are entering a time of confrontation and of no more negotiation, which by itself is not a very encouraging message.
Is it not also the case that it seems Israel is adopting the same policy towards Hamas as it did with Hezbollah over the last year or so, where it's specifically targeting military and political leadership as a way of cutting off the head of these organizations?
Netanyahu has always been very clear that he wanted to eliminate completely the Hamas. But at the same time, he was negotiating with them, and I would say since the beginning. So it is a change of policy anyway, because it means that there won't be, I suppose, no more negotiating with whom, and that he will go on with his policy in Gaza, which is, of course, very worrying for humanitarian reasons, but also for all those who are trying to find a political solution to the Palestinian issue, in particular the Saudi-French initiative in New York with the conference on the solution of two states. It means that the conditions will be difficult for these negotiations. Many things will, of course, depend on President Trump's policy now. Well, it is difficult to imagine what will be his position, because it is clear that for the Gulf countries who have received him as a king in Riyadh in last May, and where they had the feeling that there was a commitment from the Trump administration to be a mediator and to try to find a solution, of course, we are not anymore in this case. So for many people, it is a very worrying situation.
And Qatar likes to see itself as the Switzerland of the region, and being a key participant in bridging any divide in the region. Given what's happened today, what impact is it going to have on Qatar itself?
But attacking the mediator is not a policy, of course, and for the Qataris, who have spent so many effort and energy on trying to find a proper solution, it is extremely disappointing, I must say, they were relying on the Trump administration to be a kind of policymaker. Now it is difficult. Everybody is wondering what will be the next step. We know that there will be apparently an attack on Gaza, which has already started. But now, if you want to find a proper solution, the elements are apparently disappearing if you don't have any negotiation, and if the hostages, I don't know how they can be freed in these conditions. So it is extremely worrying.
Where does this leave the international community, especially the European Union?
As you know, the European Union is unfortunately divided on the Palestinian issue. But there is a move nowadays, and after what President Macron has announced, the recognition of the state of Palestine, there are other European states who are going in the same direction. And of course, the idea is to rally the broader group of countries to show that the solution of two states is the only one which is reasonable. Now, of course, with the policy, which is the Netanyahu's government policy now, and with the reaction that you will see in the whole Arab world, not only the Gulf countries, but the whole Arab world, I think that we are entering a very difficult period.
And of course, Hamas has had a complicated relationship with Qatar, its host. I mean, it's been based there, its political leadership, for a number of years. I mean, as a result, where does this leave the Palestinians themselves, particularly people in Gaza?
No, particularly as at a time where there was a kind of understanding that the Hamas won't have any specific role in what should happen in Gaza and in a future Palestinian state. So this was an understanding that was shared by all the Arab states as well. So it gives the feeling that there is a sense of pursuing an uncompromising policy without taking care of any of the other expectations from other partners. So this is where there is a real problem, because I fear that it will be a message of confrontation instead of a message of trying to find a solution at the end. Of course, as a diplomat, we know that all efforts will be tried anyway, and we will see that at the General Assembly of the United Nations, where the idea of working seriously on the two-state solution will be followed, of course. But the conditions are made more difficult by what happened today.
Ambassador Bertrand Besancenot, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.